Hey, what's up everybody, this is Tattoo Bart and welcome back to the channel. Like I said in the last video, I did a community tab on which machine you wanted to see. You all choose for the Ambition Soldier Max, which we did last week in the review. But in today's review, I still wanted to do the other machine. We got it by Warriors, it's the WOS E60. Now you might wonder, why did you buy the E60? The E70 just came out. Well, after I talked a little bit with the people from the company, it's like there's not too much of a difference between these machines except for the weight and how they look and stuff like that. The E60 has a nice big grip, which I actually prefer on my machines, and the weight balance is probably gonna be a little bit more comfortable for me. So that's why I choose for the E60. I got it right here in this box. We're gonna unbox it and see what this machine can actually do. So let's dive down and unbox this machine. So as you can see, it's a fairly big box, and that's because there's a whole bunch of stuff inside here. We're gonna open it up. It has like a magnet closing on the side. Now when you get this box, you will find all this. A tool for your stroke adjustments, some rubber bands, and a couple of screws, the user manual, and then in the big box behind here we got all the good stuff. Of course, we got the machine, you got the charger, which actually comes in a box, but I used it for a little bit, so I took off the box, which is powered by a USB cable. So I have one plug here that I use that came with another machine, works very good. You got a spare battery. Actually, it comes with two batteries in this box, but I have one in my machine already. And of course, we got the machine. So let's move all of this stuff a little bit out of the way, and we're gonna get more in depth about this machine. So right here, we got the machine. As you can see, it has a nice big grip. It's a little stiff to adjust. I have to say, this is one of the toughest machines to adjust your grip on, and it has a very long range of where you can actually adjust it. I mean, you can turn it, I think, a good 4, 5, or maybe even 6 times before you're actually getting to the end of it. As you can see, there's no gunk or anything inside this machine. All the way here on the back, you can open this up. This is where your battery sits. As you can see, it's a nice small battery. They got a mark here that says plus. It's because the plus or the positive has to be up. I didn't see that in the first time. I think I may have actually put it in the wrong way. And then right here, you can open it up. And this is where your motor and your cam sits. Now, what is so special about this cam? Let's see if we can bring it real close. As you can see, it got 3 different adjustments on there. You got the 3mm stroke, the 4, and the 5. Now on the website they claim to have 5 or 6 different strokes, because yes, you can of course try to line that arrow up in the middle, but it might work technically, but practically not really. So with the tool that you have right here, you can unscrew that and you can adjust that stroke. I have it set on 5mm right now, and I'm planning on using it only at 5mm. Maybe I will try the 4mm, but definitely not the 3. As you may know, I think on the Bishop machines they also come in a 3, a 4, and a 5mm stroke. So this would be your shader, your packer, and your liner if you compare it to a machine like that. And I think this is probably the best way of doing stroke adjustments. It's a direct drive, which is favorable for pen style machines. It is not like the disc that just gets like adjusted or like get on a different angle. This is probably the most powerful way to drive a needle when it comes to rotary tattoo machines. So it's really cool that they did that in a pen style machine and you have your cam adjustments. I will quickly get the tool and show you how to actually adjust that stroke. So like I mentioned, there is a little screw here on the side, and that Allen key that you got with this actually fits right in there. Now you loosen that up just a little bit. You don't have to untie the whole screw, and you can slide that silver part is the part that's moving. So you can push that either back, or you can bring that a little bit more forward. Now it is very, very, very minimal movement. Like there's like it's millimeter work, literally. So this is 5, and then to get that somewhere at the 4 is probably pretty tight. Now it's at 4. If you push it in a little bit more, it's at 3. Let's actually put it on 4 for just a little bit. But yeah, just imagine it's already hard enough to get it on 4, or the middle one. So imagine getting it to 3.5 is nearly impossible. Then once you're happy with your adjustment, you can put that or lock that screw back in. Put your machine back together, and it's good to go. Now let's go over to the display. It's a very nice, clean touchscreen display. You got the power button right here. It'll turn the machine on. It doesn't start running right away, which I actually like. Then there's a plus for your voltage up, or actually there's an arrow up for your voltage up, and an arrow down for your voltage down. If you press the power button or short press it, it'll start to run. And you can still adjust your voltage if you want to. If you long press your voltage, it goes by 1.0 voltage. It can go all the way down to 4.5 and up all the way to 12. But I don't think anyone is ever going to use that, or at least in my opinion. I think that's way too fast. I've used this for a little bit at the 5mm stroke, and I think I lined around 8 volts. That's why I actually like the line with this. Now even when you have this machine wrapped, the touchscreen still responds very well. Even with my gloves on, it responds. But even if this whole thing is covered in plastic, and I sometimes have a lot of plastic at the end, it's no problem for this machine at all. It'll still work very, very, very good. Now there's a couple of things I actually really love about this machine. We're gonna go back up top and talk about that a little bit. This is a little bit more of a nowadays budget friendly kind of machine. It is a little bit more at the higher end of the low budget. This machine runs for about $270, I believe. And I had to pay a little bit of custom taxes, which all combined, it set me around the $300. I went for the regular E60. You have the E60 Pro and the E60 Plus Pro as well. The only thing that does is it gives you that frequency mode. If you have the Pro, you can set it into a frequency mode, and it's perfect. The same like on the Ambition that I did. It has that stippling kind of stuff in frequency. So if you do hairlines or permanent makeup, things like that, this is all great. It's something I personally don't use, so I'm not gonna pay extra money for something that I don't use. Now if you order the Plus, it'll give you a couple of drive bars that have a softness to them. So if you like to do really soft black and gray, or you need a little bit more of a soft hit whenever you're tattooing, that is perfect for you. That's something I personally don't use. So again, something I'm not gonna pay for if I'm not gonna use it. Because I like to do my traditional work. I put it on a 5mm stroke. I smack down 11 round liners and do a bunch of whip shading and pack a whole bunch of color. So I don't need it to be very soft. Also, if I wanted to be soft, I think the 3mm stroke is just enough for me to actually make my shadings very soft. But even at a 5mm stroke, I have to say I can do some pretty good soft shading with this. I am not gonna show this one on the practice skin, just because I have a feeling that you guys don't really watch where I'm using this stuff on practice skin. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm not. Let me know in the comments if you actually want to see me using my machines on practice skin whenever I'm reviewing something, or do you rather see something on regular skin? Just let me know in the comments if you actually, what you actually enjoy to watch whenever I review a tattoo machine. Now when this thing came into my mailbox, I tested it right away because I did a little bit of line work on my own knee. I'm planning to shade and color it a little bit later, but that line work video is also gonna come to the channel, so in that video you can actually see how I line with this on real skin. And of course all my tattoo videos are pretty much in real time. I do cut out some bad footage and stuff like that, but it's not sped up or stuff like that, so you can actually see how this machine works with my hand speed and with the voltage that I'm using. So if you are interested in seeing that video, make sure you do subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on that. Now, what is it that makes this machine so special, and why should you really get your hands on a machine like this? First of all, if you like a stroke adjustable kind of machine, this is probably the best way to go. It has that direct drive system, which I believe is just the best and the strongest mechanism for a tattoo machine. And the way that they put that in this pen is just a really nice combination. You don't have to take out the whole cam. You don't have to worry about screws getting bad screws getting batted up and not working anymore, or your cam getting destroyed because you have been removing and all that kind of stuff for a long period of time. Also, a lot of tattoo machines are having like a battery on the back, which makes it very heavy on the top. This one has a battery inside, and it makes the weight of a machine a lot better. Now another thing, because it has two separate batteries that you can put into your machine, if your battery is going bad after a couple of years, because that's what happens with lithium or lithium batteries. After a couple of charges, or after a couple of hundreds of charges, the battery is not the same as it was back in the start. Now you can just order any of these batteries from any company or buy them in any supply store that you want, and your machine will still be good to go. On other tattoo machines, if your power bank, so to say, it will die, or the battery that's inside there is not good anymore, you will have to buy a new one with a display and all that stuff, and it's probably going to be more expensive than buying two separate batteries that actually fits this machine. Another very big pro on this machine is that you can actually clean it very well. You can reach the motor, you can take off the grip, you can reach all the parts of your machine that might need to be cleaned without any kind of hassle or breaking, or doing all kinds of crazy stuff to reach that part of the motor. And lately, with a lot of the machines that I reviewed, I noticed that it was so hard to get to the motor. Now I don't know why that is. Maybe they are hiding something under that motor, or they are saying that it's a direct drive but it's not, or I really don't know why that is. I remember with all the Ambition machines, it was pretty easy to reach the motor, or at least to reach the cam. And with this machine as well, it is very easy to get to that motor compartment, get inside your grip, and everything is just easy to replace. And this machine will actually give you 3 machines in one. Now there is one thing about this kind of stroke adjustments that might be a little bit more of a challenge. Now me personally, it's not a big problem. If I start a project, I would set it at a stroke length that I'm planning to use throughout that whole tattoo. But for example, if you like to do your lining with a 5mm stroke, and then you're going to do your shading and you want to set it to a 3mm stroke, and then you might have to pack some color and you want to set it to the 4mm stroke, that's going to be a very tricky thing if you're in the middle of a tattoo. That means you gotta have to unwrap your machine, put it somewhere where it's not gonna get dirty, set up your stroke length, rewrap your machine, go back to your tattoo, do your tattooing, and then do the whole same thing all over again for your color packing. So that is something I personally don't like to do. Maybe if I have to do something, maybe if I have to do it for some really soft shading, I might change it, but I think that's something that is not really gonna work. So, you know, it would be cool if there was just something somewhere on the machine where it would be easy to adjust something like that, but I understand for a direct drive kind of machine that doesn't really work that way. Now I have to say this machine actually runs super duper smooth. It almost feels like I'm holding a very high quality machine, and it also looks like it's built in a very high quality style. The metal, everything is very nice on this machine. One thing I would have loved to see maybe is like this part that's black is a little bit of a different material. And there is also like in the top here there's a couple of ridges. Now I don't know if this is, no, I don't think it is. It's not to ventilate for your battery, so your battery doesn't overheat. But it would be nice if they just took out these ridges, because yes, it looks cool, but it is also a trap for germs. Even though you have your machine wrapped, you know, it might get caught and get stuck in these little ridges. So that is something very minor things that I would have changed, and make the middle part in the same material as the grip and the display, because this one feels a little bit like different. It's still very clean, it's easy to clean it, but the best way as always is just to make sure it doesn't get dirty anyways. Now I have really had a lot of fun using this machine, so do make sure you do subscribe to my channel, because that video where I'm gonna be using this machine is gonna come out very soon. I hope you learned something from this video and you enjoyed watching this unboxing and reviewing of this machine. If you do want to get your hands on this machine, I will of course link it in the description down below. If you have any questions about this machine, of course make sure you send me a message or write it down in the comments, and I'll try to answer your question as best as possible. Other than that, I just wish you all a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.